Welcome back to episode 10 of the HX60 build series. This video is part 2 of Duncan making fully custom soft closing drawers for our galley kitchen.
I've mounted these in, so now these all function and work. The push button works, they clip in. Nice.
If you're here because you're building yourself, then you'll want to go watch part 1. It's linked up here, so give it a watch before you watch this one. And then this week, Duncan's building the remaining 3 drawers. He'll go through how he makes them flush, because it isn't easy.
Hopefully, when this is done, we'll have really nice 2mm joints either side of our ply.
How he faces them, and what heavy-duty off-road latches we've chosen.
3 40-kilo load-rated magnets. 3's got to be better than 1. 3's got to be better than 2. How good is 3?
Spoiler, the magnets just aren't going to work.
Why you wanna bring me so? Delilah.
We've chopped all our timber for 2 more boxes, and now I'm going to move on to routing them all out. This time round, because I've got all my measurements hopefully right with my prototype, it's coming together a lot quicker. I should have 2 more drawer boxes done before the end of today, rather than the 2-3 days it took me to do the original prototype. So I'm going to get 2 more drawer boxes knocked up, route out all of these, join them together, pocket hole them, have them all ready to go. So we're going to get these all marked up and then route out our dado joints. So I've now done all my dado joints in all 8 sides of my timber, and now go through and pocket hole all the side pieces and then connect them and put my base in, and then we've done another 2 drawers in less than a day, which is a relief, because if it had taken 3 days to do 1 drawer again, I think I would go insane. We're getting double the work done in a quarter of the time. As you can see, my boxes are starting to come together really well, and I've got 2 tips that one tip that I've learned from someone else in assembling these, and 1 tip of my own, because I'm pretty much an expert now. I've built 1 box and 3 walls of another one. I can't use any of my grip clamps because they don't do these right angles, but if you've got right angle clamps, use them. If you don't have them, get a little offcut that is got a perfect right angle on it, and slot it into both of the dado cuts here, chuck it in, hold it down, screw through, and you'll get perfectly straight, clean angles for your pocket holes. And the other thing that is really handy for, and this is actually why I started doing it, is it makes sure that both your dado cuts on these corners are perfectly aligned, so that when you put your drawer bottom in, you're not jamming into an edge that is off center. So that's why I started doing it, putting it in there to make sure that those dado inserts were perfect, but I'm actually realizing it's making screwing and fixing these together way easier too. So yeah, use that one if you're ever making drawer boxes like I am. It is really helping me out and saving me a bunch of time lining these things up. And the second piece is, what was the second piece of advice? There was a second piece of advice. The other piece of advice was, when you're assembling these, assemble your 3 sides, 1 front piece, 2 side pieces, then slot your insert in. Obviously this isn't it, I've got them behind me, and then put your front one on. That should be pretty obvious, because if you do it any other way, you're not going to be able to slot your bottom base into your box. So build 3 sides, and then put the 4th one on when you've got your insert in. Coming together really well. So I am absolutely buzzing on getting faster at carpentry. It's all new tools, no idea. And then as soon as you've learnt it, you can start busting out things. And the really exciting thing about having learned how to do dados and pocket holes and so on is now I can use this technique for anything that I'm building. Anything where I need to connect ply together, I can use this method. And there we have it. 1 drawer, 2 drawer, 3 drawer, 4th drawer.
Delilah, Delilah, why you wanna bring me so? Delilah, Delilah, why you wanna...
And I have made this bottom box deeper sided because I figured right at the bottom you're going to have potentially heavy pots, pans, frying pans and stuff. So I've raised this up from 12.5 centimeters up to about 16 centimeters. Looking at it, you would ask, could I have done that for all of them? Potentially. But because this bottom drawer is slightly deeper than the rest, I figured why not take advantage of that and really give us as much drawer hold space as possible. First 4 drawers built from scratch on our heavy duty 100 kilo drawer runners with our nice soft close function there. It did take quite a long time to put these together, building the boxes from scratch, doing all the frontages, screwing them in, making sure that they fit really well along the front here so I can put in all my magnetic locks and see how well they hold. Full disclosure, I've picked magnetic locks as a prototype based on a professional builder's van video. Here are magnets. They are by a company called Giaya, Jiaya, and they're 40 kilo pull magnets. So I think a quick sharp pull will open them. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not magnets will work. I'm going off another video where this professional company uses them and they put them in all their builds now because they say these are actually now adequately strong to hold drawers, but the proof will really be in the build. I have reserved the right to go back to something like a latch system that will lock it off entirely until you manually open it. But if we can get away with magnets, especially seeing the drawer runners do hold quite well, then that would be a nice little addition with the soft close drawers. I'm going to mount this side to the underside of my aluminium there, and then this piece here will go on the inside of my box. When that closes, hopefully we get a good magnetic seal. So I've got to take off this piece of aluminium, drill it in, and then we'll stick this down to the other side, and we should be good to do a test. Okay, and let's line this up. As this is just a prototype, I'm just going to do this one and then waiting 24 hours, coming back and mounting it when they're set. A little bit of a time sink compared to if you were just trying to bolt through. It's nice to get on with things when you want to do them, but we can go to another area of the truck now and get on with that while we wait for this to set and come back and hopefully have a really strong hold tomorrow.
Why you wanna break me so?
So we've left this to cure, and you can see our ply on the bottom there, pretty solid. I don't want to necessarily bash test it right now just because I am gonna let it cure for a little bit longer. So our lock is gonna sit just about here so that this front piece, which I'll attach into the drawer, just touches my wood. I'm thinking about just using these little screws that came with it because they're obviously perfect for the little mounts here. Also, if I test that goes a decent way through our ply, but not all the way through. And like always, I'll drill some little pilot holes in the center of these so that I get my screw perfectly lined up. And there you have it. Magnet mounted to our piece of 12mm ply, which is Stixall Super Bond adhesive, stuck to our piece of extruded aluminium. That goes in perfectly, and none of this hits our bottom inside drawer box. And then I should be able to see my magnet in here and at least draw around the outside of each of those, and then I'll know loosely what my inner piece needs to sit behind. And look, I hate how I've done this adhesive on the back. It's got on the back so that no one will see it. However, you can see from the front, I have a much cleaner looking strip on there, and then I could come along with a knife and just chop off any excess bead here. Heard a little click. Maybe my screws need to be in a little bit further because that doesn't really hold anything at the moment. Is it all lining up? Appears to be. So I just noticed that my screws were actually sitting a little bit proud of this base plate, so that the magnet was probably not getting a proper seal because these screws were hitting it first. Take tool on drawer holding with magnets, clicks in. Not a great hold. I'm thinking I need to mount this magnet further forward now. We've mounted that properly this time, and it clicks in really well. I can pull it pretty easily. I wouldn't say that's got like 40 kilos. I want to have to struggle. So far, not what I want and not good enough for our finished product. Either they are not the 40 kilo ones, or 40 kilos of pull force in my mind is a bit more than giving it a bit of a push with my fingers. You don't want to be let down by your magnets, and when you're driving and this thing's going back and forth, have the drawers opening and smashing around. And to everyone out there who goes, magnets will never work, this does look like a win for you at the moment. Maybe there's an error somewhere, or maybe there's a stronger magnet that'll do the job. But whatever these are, ain't it. I'm going to try mounting 2 of these, maybe even 3, and just see if I do get significantly more hold. In a perfect world, I would just be using magnetic locks on this. The reason I haven't gone straight to doing push locks or something like that, based on the hold of one of these, to do that, I have to drill holes in the front and mount them, and it's a bit more involved. Rather have magnets, more magnets if I can, and then I can just do a really nice handle in the drawer, and it'll be beautifully clean, and I won't need additional locking mechanisms. So we now have our 2 magnets in here. Really nice close, feels really cool. First impressions, I was like, oh, okay. I can't really like pull the side of this to open it, but if I bring my hand to the back of the box and give it like a tug, it'll open. If I bang that, it will just open. I would say for 40 kilo pressure each, or strength each, I've now got 80 kilos, and if I can push this with my 2 fingers, not that strong. But we obviously have increased the hold a bit. And if I pull on the back, I can give it a bit of a tug and then it will open. So the question is, do we try 3 magnets? Which seems pretty excessive, but I've got the magnets. I may or may not use them, so I may as well test 3. Three 40 kilo load rated magnets. 3's got to be better than 1. 3's got to be better than 2. But how good is 3? So we've got 3 magnets, and then hopefully our backs in the right place along here. Now I know they don't have to be exactly spot on, but the better you get them lined up to the magnet, the better hold you're going to get. So if I get to the back, sometimes it holds really well, and then other times it seems to come off way easier, which isn't reassuring. Because when I was trying to open this from the front, I was like really struggling to push it, and then I brought my hand round to this corner, and like I didn't even have to do anything there. Like literally, it just opens. Does that mean that I shouldn't have put my magnets in the center here? It's just occurring to me now, and I should have spread them out more evenly. So I had 1 in the center and 1 on either side. That makes perfect sense now that I think about it. I really don't want to take these off and put them on again, but now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense. Spreading them out a little bit further and having 1 in each corner, and then over here, and then 1 in the center, because that will spread the force across more of my rail and then more of my draw. I don't know what I'm expecting from these magnets. I'm probably expecting too much from them, if I'm being wholly honest. I'm officially done with these magnets. They are too painful. I've taken this apart 6 times. I didn't bother filming it because who wants to see that? But I cannot get the 3 magnets perfectly lined up so that they all click in at the same time when I close this drawer. So it actually has worse hold now, having them spread out along here than it did all in the center. It's just telling me these are not the way to go, which is a hard pill to swallow because I wanted them to work. People were right about magnets. I've devoted too much time and effort into trying to make these work, and I know people are probably saying, well, you could get that center one a little bit further forward and do that. Yeah, but over time, like if anything moves, the hold's going to be degraded. You need to get 3 magnets perfect. It's just a pain. I think that is a wrap on magnet drawer locks. So if you're considering them, I'm sure someone else will make them work better than I do. And maybe if you could get 1 super strong magnet that is load rated for like 200 kilos, which will probably only give you the 40 kilos you were meant to get with these ones. Don't let this put you off. Go for it. But I'm calling it on them. Not going to work for me. Drawer locks. Found these little things, which are actually hood locks for race cars. And they're a little push button lock where when you press that, it comes off. And they get a super strong hold, vibration hold as well, so they don't come off when people are driving and their hoods fly up. So they're really good locking mechanism. Really simple, really small, and pretty inexpensive. So I'm mounting these to the front of my drawer, and then this through either the aluminium or through a piece of ply that I've done here with a thread that I've screwed in. So I think you can see I've screwed in a thread here and then run it through there, and then I've just done a little countersinking hole or routed out countersink there for a nylock nut, so that shouldn't come off. So you can see she's in, and you press that, and because I don't have a handle, it's quite hard to pull on it, but if I push on the other side, it comes off, and then that is mounted into this piece of aluminium here, and then when I push it back on, clicks in and holds really well. I'm not worried about that coming off at all. So when you got the handle here, I'm thinking, your thumb comes up, pushes it, and then you pull the handle. So at the top here, where I could mount directly into my aluminium, I've just done a washer and a nylock nut on the other side to stop it from coming off or vibrating off. And then my second mounting option, you can see here, I still have my magnet on, and then I've done another 18mm piece of ply. It'll be sanded and painted, but this is all stuck on with our Fix-All sealant. We've shown you with the bash test, this stuff is rock solid once it's in place. and I've screwed in the thread, run it through, and then done the nut on the other side. In order to mount these, that's the back side of it. So I drill a hole through 2 different depths, one so I can get my kind of locking nut on the back of that in, and then slightly smaller on the front so I can get my little button in. And to do that, I literally 25 hole on this side and then a 16 on the front, which means that I can push this piece all the way through, and then at the back have a larger space so I can get in with my torque wrench and tighten on that locking thread at the back. So that is the little locking thread that goes on the back. So we did see that on another van builder's kind of website, and they gave us an Amazon link to go and find them. Car hood locking clamps, I believe. I can send you the link if anyone's interested, but they seem to be a really good solution and a really like minimal solution, because I didn't want these massive big drawer locks, because we're going to have nice handles on these drawer fronts. Any of the other options like caravan or motorhome drawer locks, they kind of take the place of your handles, and they don't look, well, they're just not the style we wanted to go for. So these are just nice little black, very subtle, and I think they are an absolute win. So now we've got our drawers all locked off with our really nice push locks. I've got magnets on about half of them. I might do it on all. It depends, because the magnets hold a bit and you kind of want them to pop off when you press the push lock. Still got to work it out. I might leave that final decision until I put handles on and just see what it's like when you press it and pull it with a handle. But what I'm doing now is I'm getting this laser level, I'm sanding off the side of these drawers, and then I'm going to get this piece fixed in as a little prototype and get a feel for just whether or not these drawers, when I have ply in here, ply on the side, and little gap, are going to look beautiful or not. These are the little details that I haven't really been showing whilst I've been sanding, getting this all ready, but I figured I may as well show you now because I'm kind of sanding it down. It's pretty boring to watch, but hopefully when this is done, we'll have really nice 2mm joints either side of our ply face, and then underneath and so on, so you won't see any of the aluminium. And then when it's sanded and painted and sealed and everything, it should look pretty professional-ish. Anyway, professional for a first-time DIY builder. So we've sanded these down a bit. We're getting pretty close. You can see my little piece in here, which notches really nicely into my seating frame, sits in there pretty well. So that will be stick sawed down to the aluminium, because I don't see a point in these parts at the moment unless there's something that I need to get access to, which I don't believe there is, of bolting these through. This, when it goes on, I think can literally be stuck on there, and then the drawers close in around them. This is in, giving me a good idea of how these will all work, where all my verticals and horizontals are to cover up the aluminium. Because one of the big considerations I wanted with this is I didn't want any exposed aluminium. I know some people really like it in their truck builds. So I'll leave that prototype there for now. I'm not going to seal it on for obvious reasons. But at least now I know that this kind of works with a bit of sanding, a bit of playing, a bit of tweaking. So all in all, our drawers are coming together, and the theory behind them is actually holding up, which I do like, because it was one thing that really worried me building these drawers was, am I going to be able to make it as square and as flush as I want to? And I'm maybe 70 or 80% more sure that I can. Not 100%, 70 or 80% closer to having perfectly flush drawers that look like a professional has made them.
Meanwhile, back at the house, Naya's big sister training is in full swing. She's taking it upon herself to learn all she can about how to be a big sister, and it couldn't be more adorable. And when she's not looking after her baby doll, we're in the park, we're splashing outside, we're really enjoying being here for summer and enjoying having one house for such a long time. Naya! This is the longest we have stayed in any one place since she's been born. 7 months now versus our previous record of just 7 weeks. But that's a wrap for us for this week and maybe for a few weeks. Baby 2 is impending. So if you don't hear from us for a few weeks, it's because we are fully embracing that newborn bubble. We'll see you soon.